we've been asking you a lot about Gardner filling in and taking the spot down in Jacksonville. What do you think of Luke stepping in and playing dominantly last night?
Yeah, I thought Luke played well. I thought he played well, and I think he'll get better and better the more he plays, and it sounds like he's going to play for a couple weeks too.
Did you communicate with him after the game, or kind of send him a text like you did with Gardner?
Yeah, text back and forth. He was excited to have the chance to play, and just looking forward to it.
I know you've talked a lot about AIRAID quarterbacks and AIRAID concepts kind of making their way to the NFL, and that they're pretty widespread. But as far as just your own quarterbacks here at Washington State finally getting an opportunity, do you think there's any validation for people who might believe that your QBs can't make it to the NFL or thrive? Or
I don't know. I don't really do the thinking for those people. I do the thinking for myself. But I don't care if they're validated or not. I mean, if they think they're good quarterbacks, they're right. If they don't think they're good quarterbacks, they're wrong. So it's about as simple as that, So
you guys have a lot of junior college players right now that are not only obviously on the team but producing, starting in a lot of different spots. Is this the most junior college talent you've had, kind of producing and contributing to the team as you have right now?
I don't know if it's the most. It's probably the most consistent. In other words, I found over the years that junior college is kind of a 50-50 proposition. And in our case, our percentage is higher than that for this year for sure, as far as guys contributing and being able to play.
We were talking to Tracy Clace last week about the mimicking the signal count penalties that you guys were getting last year, and they don't seem to be popping up this year. And he seemed to think that it came up during the conference meetings. Did you get any clarity in the off season about what that was about?
Well, that's tough for me to go into too much detail, but with regard to the rule, it's everything we did last year was legal. Everything we did last year was legal, and then others occasionally interpreted it differently, but football at all levels, there's basically do how we do as far as moving the front. I mean, a particular team may not, but every level of football moves the front. So, I mean, it's legal at all levels.
Is it typically Justice making those calls this year?
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Tracy. And maybe somebody up front. I'm not sure.
Hey, Bill, how we doing?
You talked yesterday about how Chip Kelly's offense at Oregon maybe impacted the way defenses kind of change their play as opposed to offenses. Can you talk about how maybe defenses adapted to that kind of offense and the speed, and what they've done to kind of adapt to the change in offense?
Well, defenses have had to have a plan for when they go really fast, and so as a result, it makes it difficult for defense to personnel, unless there's some kind of stoppage. So I think it presents problems as far as personnelling, and you have to have a plan. If they are going fast, what you're going to get into. So I think a lot of defenses have started out with base calls and then worked their own level of tempo, I guess, to be able to get more calls in quickly.
What would you see as far as improvement from the run defense on Friday as opposed to the Northern Colorado game?
Well, the second half, I thought we defended really well. I mean, if you subtract that last drive, I mean, we had a really good second half defensively, something like 2-point-something yards a play, both pass and run. And then with them running it most of the time, I mean, that really was quite impressive, I thought. The one drive, obviously not what we're looking for, but we've got to correct that, but we don't want to overshadow the defensive effort the second half, because predominantly we were pretty dominant on the run defensively the second half.
And then Renard's blocking. He had a play where he made one block for Tay, kind of fell down and then ran down the sideline and made a second block.
Blocked 2 blocks, yeah.
What does that say about him? How does that factor into what you guys do and help you guys?
Well, he's always been a pretty good blocker and needs to continue to block, and and a bunch of these other receivers who are reasonably good blockers need to join the party, like Renard. And if you knock the first guy down, try to find somebody else to hit.
It's good.